believe we are live. It at least says that we're live. So hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I am beyond excited about what we are doing tonight. Today is the 1 year anniversary of my baby, the podcast, the Flow and Flourish podcast. And it has definitely been a year to celebrate. We are 45 episodes in. This is 46. Each and every one of these ladies that you see here have been on the podcast. And if you're new to it, let me just tell you a little bit. I am Nicole Roan. I'm your capacity coach, and I help you create balance between your personal and your professional life while making sure that you're not sacrificing yourself, your family, or the people and things that you love the most. And tonight I have three phenomenal ladies, again, who have already been on the podcast, but I wanted to bring them on because this season, I'm really going to be hashing out what capacity is and how it really impacts our different areas of flow. And so we have Miss Danielle Washington here, who is going to talk to us about some wellness. We have Miss Latika Vines, who is our boss mom coach, who's going to talk to us about work-life balance. And then we have Miss Krista Shavers here with her cute little baby Noella. And we're going to be talking about strategies for your business. So as you come in, hey Talia, I see you made it. Welcome. As you come in, just say hi. We are keeping this completely conversational. It's girlfriend chat Tuesday night celebration. So without further ado, I'm going to have each of you with you. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, ma'am.
Hey girl, hey. My name is Danielle. It's so funny. I've always wanted to do like this cheerleader thing. My name is Danielle. I don't know why, but disregard me. I think I'm just in a really happy mood because it's my birthday week. It is also my anniversary of my podcast this week. So I love all of this. Yeah, I didn't know. I forgot when I was like, oh, wait, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, we started at the same time. So I'm excited about this. But those who don't know me, my name is Danielle Washington. I am from San Francisco Bay Area. So I always tell people, if you hear the word hella, don't be surprised because it is my hella favorite word. Nicole likes to call me a wellness coach. I don't know why, but
You're a wellness guru, ma'am. You help us think about it in different ways and not just the traditional ways.
And see, I don't think of myself as a guru. I love saying that I'm like the Harriet Tubman of wellness. I'm just on this underground railroad, maybe 2 steps ahead of you. And I just want to help pull everyone through. So what I've been doing is I've been creating this wellness revolution for women of color because I feel like we are being told these lies that wellness has to be this way, that way. And I want us to realize wellness is like a custom pair of jeans and it fits the way we need it. I need to decolonize this wellness system so we could thrive and stop surviving. And so that is my mission, is to see that we are thriving and no longer be like, it is what it is. A little bit more about me. I have a podcast. It's Hello Well with Danielle. And I'm also a certified Karuna Reiki master and teacher, meditation teacher. And I take women on trips around the world when we can travel again. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh, all the things. Ma'am, you just got all the gifts, huh? You gonna take them all?
I am grateful to be among amazing powerhouse women and babies.
Yay. Thank you so much. That is, one of the reasons I had you here today, because of this wellness revolution, especially for women of color. And, I talk about all the time how important it is for us to take care of ourselves. And so, I have some questions for you that we'll get into in a little bit. So thank you for introducing yourself. And Miss Latika Vines, come on, boss mom coach.
Yes. Well, hello, everyone. I am Latika. Danielle, I did not know it was your birthday week. Happy birthday.
I'm 9/11. I would say I came first. I don't know if that's wrong, people, but I'm like.
You did. It's the truth, though.
I did. Sorry, I'm a 70s baby. Don't disregard me.
So it's funny because my birthday was Thursday. Yes. So
Happy
September.
birthday.
Thank you. September in the house.
Right quick. The Stevie Wonder version. Happy birthday to you.
I'm like, the Virgos are in the house. I love it. We just get you in that pink and we be all good.
Mm-hmm. And Asia, who's here, my VA, her birthday is this month as well. So we're celebrating.
Oh, yes. The 25th. Awesome. Awesome. Well, outside of being a Virgo, I am a working mom of four. I am a wife. I am a work-life balance advocate. I am the boss mom coach. I am a career development strategist, consultant, and also the host of the Latika Vine Show, which is a podcast for working moms to help them balance life. And I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! I'm so excited to have you. And, I've been on your podcast. We've done a conference together. And just as a fellow work-life balance advocate, I thought it
Yes.
made perfect sense for you to be in this space today just to talk to us because with things kind of going back to normal and then kind of going a little bit backwards, having that balance is going to be important. So I'm excited to ask you a couple of questions as well. And thank you for introducing yourself.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome, ma'am. All right. Last but not least, Miss Krista Shavers. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me. Hi, Danielle and Latika. It's so great to be amongst Black excellence. So, my name is Krista Shavers. I am a brand architect and media marketing strategist. I enjoy telling stories and helping brands and companies tell their stories in order to better connect with their audiences and to then increase their revenue. I'm a wife. I'm a new mom, and I'm a believer of Christ, and I also work to make sure that people know that we are all loved by someone who created us. So I am.
Come on, ma'am. Yay. Thank you for introducing yourself. And, I talked to you about being part of this because of the brand architecture that you do and really being able to help us put some strategies behind our businesses that really do carry over into our personal lives as well. So I feel like this is such a great mix. We are about to have a really great conversation. And for those of you who are just joining or catching the replay, there will be links. So make sure that you say hello, click on these links, check these ladies out. We will be dropping all that information. But for now, I want to go ahead and get started and ask some of these questions. And you ladies, if you have questions throughout this show, please, please, please drop them. This is such a prime opportunity to really ask all of us the questions that you have as we get ready to go into the last quarter of the year, trying to get our lives right for 2022. So, Danielle, the first question that I have for you is really, can you tell us the difference between self-love and self-care? And all of us being self-care advocates, I think that there's a lot of confusion between the two. I know personally, I used to confuse the two, and I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes from time to time, I'm like, is this self-care, self-love, self-indulgence? What is this? Yeah. And so can you talk to us a little bit about the difference between self-care and self-love?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question because I think there is so much confusion between self-love, self-care, but I also think there's confusion between self-work. And so I think people don't think about all three of them. And so it's hard to embrace one of them if you don't know the difference between each of them. And so I'll kind of break it down, each one, or the self-care versus self-love, because I definitely think that there is a huge difference. So the way I'm a dictionary lover. I was a kid who was, loved to read encyclopedias and I loved looking at definitions. So I looked at the definition of self-love, which I really actually don't like, but I'm going to tell you why. So Webster, my bestie, told me self-love is love of self, such as having a high regard for your own well-being, happiness, and appreciation of one's own worth or virtue, which sounded so lofty. I was like, can you just break it down? So when I think of self-love, I think to love oneself is to accept, to know, and trust oneself. And not only that, I think it's cultivating that gratitude and acceptance toward yourself, not just emotionally, but also physically. Loving that curve that might have been higher up at one point in time that kind of lowered down. that stomach that would have been shorter but came in, loving everything about you. When you're able to not just love, know, and accept, but trust, that's a whole different ballgame. And I think that so many people have problems, me included, and I've had a problem for a good portion of my life with self-love, because I feel like there's this disconnect between our inner being, our inner truth, because we're taught we're supposed to be a certain way, you're supposed to look away, especially in social media, wellness and self-care. You see all these hashtags, self-care, and they're telling you self-care is this, self-care is that. And if you're not fitting into that box, oh, well, you're not doing self-care, you're not doing self-love. And it's hard to, again, understand what self-love is and tap into that inner knowing if you're tapping into what someone else's beliefs are. So I think that's where there's a disconnect with the self-love. So that's what I feel like self-love is. I also love to say self-love is knowing that you are love. That's the woo-woo in me, that you are, not that you are loved, but that you are love. And if you're loved, you're worthy, because you are just pure, the essence of love. So self-care. Self-care, I consider that like the maintenance or kind of the taking care of, your well-being, your body, your mind, your soul. It's the nourishing and refueling. I also love analogies. So if you think about it, I love wine. So you're at a bar or a restaurant, your wine glass is empty. Self-care is that waiter who comes and tops you off just because. He's nourishing your joy of wanting that. And so that if you want to kind of break it down, so self-love is more of a feeling and thought, whereas self-care is the action behind that. And then you add in self-work. So self-work and self-care, I think, get mixed up a lot, because I think people mix the two. So self-work is the act of trying to improve so you can get to the place that you want to be. You can have self-love without self-care. You can have self-work without self-care. You can have all of them differently. They all work well together, and they all work well separately. And, I think people mix the two. So if you want to really think about it, self-love is the feeling, as well as self-care is the maintenance, the nourishing, and the refueling, the recharging. If that makes sense.
That makes all the sense. And I love how you broke it down and how you added in the self-work, because I know that for myself, I used to think that doing that self-work was the self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to believe like you, the self-love is the mindset, the beliefs. It's the inner stuff. Not that the self-care is not, because it can be inward and outward.
Yeah.
But in order to even get to that level, you got to do some self-work. So I love you.
But you don't always have to do the self-work. And like the way, so if you let's look at a scale. Mm-hmm. Like, throwing out a scale from the aspect of self-love. It's loving your body as it is. Mm-hmm. The self-care aspect of it is maintaining a healthy mindset around your body. And that's the one same thing, because that's where the confusion is, can be looked at a different way. It's just your intention behind it. One being an action, one being one being more feelings behind it, if that makes any sense.
It makes all the sense. All the sense. Now, ladies, do you have any comments that you want to add to Danielle's definition, either Latika or Krista?
It's so funny we're having this discussion, because I have been on a healing journey. And, when you talk about self-care and self-love, my self-love, me being able to love me and all of my flaws, all of my baggage, my hiccups and hangups, I had to go through this journey of healing. And when I began to journal and read and pray and everything else, I realized that I'm okay. I'm an okay human being. And I love who I am. I don't have to pretend to be this person or pretend that everything is okay. I can love what's not okay about me. Talking about the hips not being where they're supposed to be. How about you
Not
breastfeeding
supposed to be there where they are. There's no
with
supposed to be.
well where they are where they were. But I breastfed 4 kids. And let me tell you, stuff's not where it was when I was 19 years old. Okay. But I've learned to love every piece of what I have. And it's interesting because I was listening to a sermon this morning, and the pastor was saying that, you know, when you have scars, or maybe things are sagging, or maybe you have stretch marks, or maybe you have birthmarks, or Mongolian marks, we have to love those marks. We have to love those scars. Each one of them tells a story of who we are, and we have to love who we are no matter what. So I love what you said, Danielle, and it's right up exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's funny. I for so long did not love me. I
Mm,
just did not love me. But I wanted to say it was comical, but it's interesting that for so many years I've been doing self-care, but I wasn't doing self-care. I was doing self-work to get to self-love, which then got me to get into more self-care and like realizing that I was doing self-care without self-love. I was doing self-work without self-love. And then I was doing all the other ones. And now I'm in a space where they're all kind of coming together so beautifully, like the best super band you ever could have imagined. And I am perfectly imperfect. And
yes.
I am so okay with that. When you have the self-acceptance, you know who you are and you trust who you are, you show up differently than someone who doesn't have that. And the same thing, whether you show up with, whether you have self-love, self-care, or self-work, you're gonna show up differently than someone who doesn't know the difference, or someone who hasn't gotten to that point of doing one or the other. So I honor you in your journey. I know the journey isn't always fun. I think that's the self-work, but
Mhm.
that other side of that mountain, yo,
Oh,
sis.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
amazing.
loving the journey. And I know this is a journey. And I was telling my therapist today, I'm like, I'm at a point in my life where I decided to stop on the journey and just sit back and just look how far I came. And I am grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And know that it's I'm in a bump, but it's sometimes it's nice to pause and just enjoy the view.
Yes.
Listen, y'all know I'm all about that life. And the journey, like you said, it's not always easy, but it's necessary for us to really get comfortable in the skin that we're in, as moms, as friends, as women, as employees, just all the stuff that we're doing. Like, there is so much that we're already carrying. We don't need to pretend to be okay. I love what you said, Latika, how it's okay to not be okay. And part of the journey is recognizing that and learning, what do I need, where do I need to pour into myself? Like you use the wine glass analogy, fellow wine lover over here too. So I love that analogy. Really being able to just to do all three of these things. Like you said, you can do each in different ways, but I absolutely love those definitions and analogies, and want to give Krista a chance if you have anything that you want to add. And if not, that's okay too. So let me know.
Just really quickly, it's interesting that you were talking about that, and I've been on a long um, healing, loving, wellness care journey myself, um, having lost my mother and grandmother. So I was doing that for myself before I got pregnant. And then I was in that process of, well, starting that process. And then I found out that I was pregnant with a daughter. And so that journey is even more, now it's like a critical mission for me, because I want to be healthy and whole and well, hella well.
Let's go, Hella.
Yes. So that she has that example every day from like the person that she's with the most.
I love that. I feel like part of the reason so many of us struggle with self-love is because we watched generation after generation after generation show that love was self-sacrifice, especially Black women. I'm gonna just go with the Black and brown women. That self-sacrificing is the way we show love. You aren't loving someone unless you are sacrificing, giving your every last drop and dime until you are begging on the ground in the desert, like, I just need a drop. And us right here doing the healing process to break those generational traumas is real talk of, I love that you're doing that for your daughter. So when she's growing older, she has an example of someone who is not following that I'm just hustling hard, I'm just getting by to do enough, to show that she can be whoever she wants to be and can heal and live wholly. She's so cute. So yeah.
Ain't she though? I'm just putting it in the chat because I love you for saying that self-sacrifice is not self-love. And that is what we as women, and especially women of color, have been taught, right? Give your last, put the kids first, do all of those different things. And it's because it's been handed down to us. So I am so glad that you shared that. And Krista, I thank you for sharing your perspective as well, because Krista will come back. As she talked about, losing her mom and grandmother and wanting to break those different cycles for her daughter now. A lot of us, whether we're moms or not, are leading by example and doing that for our nieces, for, our moms, our aunties, our grandmothers, all of them. We're doing all of those things because we want to stress how important it is to unlearn that. So I know we spent a lot of time on self-love and self-care. We can talk about that all day. So I want to get over to Miss Latika. I want to know, what are some ways that moms can shift their mindsets surrounding separating their role as a mother and their identity outside of that? And I ask that because as women, especially, when we have children or even when we get into serious relationships, we lose ourselves. We lose our identity. It could even be throwing ourselves into our work, whether it's at an office or you're an entrepreneur. What are some ways that we can really learn how to shift our mindsets and separate us from the titles?
Mm-hmm. I've also gone on this journey. And what happened to me when I did lose myself, if you will, is that I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. And so many of us, there's various reasons why we as moms have postpartum depression. But for me, it was that I was not happy. I was not happy. I was not happy with who I was in the moment. And I had to go to therapy. I, really, and thankfully my doctor gave me time off. She wrote a letter for me to have time off from work, which allowed me to sit. And what I realized was that there was a greater mission in my life than to just sit and do for everybody else. I was constantly putting myself on the back burner. I wouldn't even get my hair done, and that's just a small example, but I wouldn't get my hair done because who was going to watch the kids? Because my husband was doing something with work, working late or whatsoever. Or I wouldn't even just take a day off from work because, oh my God, if I take a day off from work, my house needs to be cleaned, the laundry needs to be done, like something needs to be done in my house. And it wasn't until I was diagnosed with postpartum depression that I realized that God gave me the capacity to do everything that I have to do in my life. Be a mom of four, be a wife, be involved in church, all of that. But he also gave me the capacity to be who he destined for me to be. And I need to tap back into what that is. And so, I had to literally go to God and say, okay, God, I know there's something in me. I know there's something in me. I just don't know how to get it out. And so therapy, um, of course, praying with him, but I literally had to go back to what it was that I wanted to do in my life. As little girls, we always said, hey, when I get certain age, I want to have this and I want to have this and I want to have this. We all planned out our lives when we were like 5 years old. What happened? What happened? And circumstances, choices that I made prevented me from doing that. But those choices, whether good or bad consequences, that should never stop me from doing what it is that I'm supposed to do. It should have never stopped me. And so I literally had to stop and really just think about it, envision, what is it that you want me to do, God? And really just understand, God created me. He created me with a purpose. He told me that there is a future for me. He told me that I'm to be prosperous, not just, spiritually, physically, but everything, financially as well. And so if God is telling me I can do this, then I need to go back to him and say, okay, I need you to help me figure this out. And he did. He gave me the tools. He allowed me to go to therapy, which was awesome, because therapists give you the tools to, certain questions, certain exercises for you to figure it all out. What's up here, write it out on paper. And so I was able to do that and just understand that there was so much more to me than just being a mom and a wife. And even to this day, I'm still working at that every single day. I am Latika. I'm Latika before I am the wife, before I am the mother, before I am the employee. I am Latika. What does Latika like to do? What color does Latika want to wear today? And I had to really go back to that. And it wasn't until this year that I actually created a personal vision board where I had everything that I envisioned for my life. And it just made me feel so good to see, wow, I'm actually doing something for me. And when you see it, I see it every single day, this vision board, it gives me that push to move forward in that direction of where I want to go and what I see in my vision board.
Well, okay, listen, all of that. And as someone who has worked with you personally, can I just tell you that personal vision board whole process has changed my life and really helped me to get back into with what does Nicole like? What do I not like? Right? Yes. Where do I want to spend my time? Because so many of us are so busy trying to, whether it's climb that corporate ladder, increase our businesses, show up for our friends and our families, we can absolutely get lost in all of that. So that personal vision board.
Yeah.
Look, I got it. I have the vision board, but I also printed out the papers. It's taped to my bathroom mirror.
Yes.
There's one taped on the side of my nightstand. I have a picture of it on my phone.
That's
along
right.
with my other stuff, because I need to see it every day and remind myself, hey, like Danielle said, you're worthy. You are loved. You can take a minute and, whether it's taking a nice bath with rose petals and all of those different things. What is it that I like? And so often we forget what we like because we're so busy doing all of the things. And that gives me a good segue into my next question for you. So you talked about shifting our mindset and understanding that we need to tap into the capacity that God gave us to be who he called us to be. Once we've shifted that mindset, what are some ways that women can begin working towards having a successful work-life balance? And I know we talked about this in the podcast, right? Similar to what Danielle said, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yes.
And I think that needs to be really clear, because so many people tend to say work-life balance ain't even a real thing. Yes, it is. It's just different for you. So I'll stop talking. Give us some tips on how women can really get to what they may consider a successful work-life balance. Hey, boo in the background.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing is that, we need to stop looking on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all the other social media channels out here on what everybody else is doing in life. Because, and it's funny because my husband and I were talking about reality TV. Reality TV is not reality. It is set up. It is staged. Things are planned for. That's not what people do every single day. We cannot lean on other people as our example of, oh, that's what I need to be doing, because you have no idea what's happening in the background. You have no idea if that woman is crying herself to sleep. You have no idea if she is being abused. You have no idea what people are going through. So we have to stop comparing ourselves to other people. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is to give ourselves grace. We have to give ourselves grace. We are imperfect human beings expecting perfection. There's no such thing. There is no such thing. We cannot have unrealistic expectations when it comes to working motherhood. We have to be real with ourselves. We have to be real with our circumstances. And if that means that you can't do it all, you can't do it all. And so the third thing is that we have to delegate. We have to delegate. So if that's calling on your device, I don't want to say the name right now because it will go off, but if that's a device, then you need to call that device and say, hey, you need to order something for me. Instacart, Target, Walmart, Safeway. A lot of these stores allow you to order online through their app and then come to the store and pick it up. All you have to do is pull into the designated parking lot area, put in where you parked, and they will come in and put your stuff in your car. We cannot do it all. We cannot do it all. And so give it to somebody. And one of the things I say all the time is we have to create a system. In system, the acronym, save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. So however you can create a system, delegating anything and everything, having someone to come to your house and clean. If that's the neighbor that sees you struggling and said, baby, do you need me to do something for you? Yes. Do not be too proud to say, I need someone to help me clean up my house. I need someone to help me to just watch the kids for 5 minutes while I sit in the car. I need someone to help me change. Now we're in the season, the change of season. I need someone to help me change out my kids' closets, with the season change. Do not be so proud to not let somebody help you. We are not super women. Karen told us that. Karen told us.
I'm not talking for women.
She told us.
Y'all help me.
But she told us that. And then Fantasia came back just a few years later and redid the song in her own little church way. If you haven't listened to it, you need to listen to it.
Nobody else.
You need to listen to Fantasia singing Superwoman with Babyface playing keys in the background. Listen to it. Yes.
Okay. I'm
Fantasia
gonna
Blue.
tell thou who shall not be named to play that when we're done. While I add to order the groceries and whatnot.
But it's, we cannot be superwomen. We cannot put that label on ourselves, because when we put that label on ourselves, we burn out. We are diagnosed with postpartum depression because we're trying to do everything. We have these unrealistic expectations, and we're upset because we can't get anything done, because we were not supposed to do everything. Just like God saw that Adam couldn't do one simple job by himself and he needed a helper. Don't you think we need a helper too? Whoever it is, we need a helper. We have to delegate things so that we can have that peace, so that we can love ourselves. We have to delegate things, whatever it is, build that system so that you can be okay. Because the last thing we need is another mom to be burnt out, to be overwhelmed, to be stretched past capacity. It's not. It is okay for us to ask for help. It is okay. We're not too prideful. We don't have to be too proud to beg. It is okay. And if somebody looks at you crazy because you went to go ask for help, you look back at them like they're crazy. Just because our mothers did everything by themselves and their mothers did everything by themselves doesn't mean that we can do the same thing, because we don't know what our mothers were doing. We don't know if they were crying late at night. We don't know what blood, sweat, and tears they were going through to make sure we were taken care of. We are not our mothers. We are not our aunts. We are not our grandmothers. Well, we are our women of today who realize that our capacity is not built. What do you say all the time? The way my capacity is set up?
Listen,
We
their
can't.
capacity was different from how ours is.
It was.
Gosh, girl, you said so many things. I don't even. Oof. Just even the system that I put up. You said it is save yourself time, energy, and money. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. And just, I'm scrolling back up because number one, like you said, get off social media. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And also, my favorite, and I saw Danielle nodding in agreement, give yourself grace. Release those unrealistic expectations. Sis, take off that cape.
Yes.
It's not doing anybody no good. It don't even work. You can't do it. You can't fly. Take it off. And that cape was handed down, like we've all said, from our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties, well-meaning friends and family who may still be operating at what their ancestors' capacity used to be. That's not what it is today. So you have to use these tools to match your capacity today. So thank you so much for giving all of those tips. I know that's helping somebody. I'm seeing stuff in the comments. So yes, ladies, do you have any comments on any of the things that Latika just mentioned before we get into Krista with the business strategy?
I say amen to everything she said. I mean, you know me, I love saying give yourself grace. And I just wanted to kind of take that another step further. Give yourself grace without the guilt and the shame. Because we can say, oh, I can't take on this capacity. But internally, you're like, I'm a weak woman. I'm just not as good as my mother. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, and that. And you're shaming yourself inside. So with that grace, I always tell my clients, talk to yourself as if you're talking to your 5-year-old daughter. Would you say that to her? Would you tell her, oh, you're stupid, you're not good enough? So give yourself grace without the shame.
I second and amen that too. Without the guilt, without the shame, without the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. What do we say? Stop shoulding all over yourself.
Exactly. Stop shitting, because we do shit all over ourselves. Oh, I should do this. I should do that. Who is checking you? And who are these people? Are like, oh, they're gonna say something to me. Who who are these people? Is there like a committee of people who are like shaders? I want
They,
people
you
to
know
shut
who they
that.
are, girl. Y'all know who they are.
They don't exist. So once we remember that they don't exist, and it's only the internal mean girl that's in us who's keeping us down from our real glory,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that no is a complete sentence, game changer.
Period. Oh, I love that. Thank you for adding that.
I just want to say thank you, Latika. You just super duper blessed me. All of those things are the things that I've been like living through. And just really identifying who I am and what and where I want to be through all of this, being a new mom, being a new wife. Um, and continuously pivoting in business as I continue to learn and grow. And so, yeah, I just want to say thank you for that. And then I think too, we talk about its weakness to set like what's boundaries, or it's people try to say that's weak, but that's really strength, recognizing your limitations, or not even just that, recognizing what you should be doing versus what you shouldn't be doing is a huge strength that if more people had, we'd have a much healthier and productive society. So
Yes.
I don't even know what to say
Absolutely.
after that, but yes, because, I talk about boundaries all the time in the capacity work because typically when somebody comes to me and says, oh, I am overwhelmed, I'm frustrated, I have no work-life balance, I'm asking, well, what your boundaries look like, babe? Well, oh, okay, so let's talk about it, right? And really being able to distinguish that boundaries are not just for other people, they're for you, right? For yourself. And I talked about this in the conference last week that those boundaries are a necessity. So I love that you bring that up because if we all got better, I won't even say better, got more comfortable and learned how important it is to have these boundaries with friends, with family members, at work, with the coworkers that you don't like with your boss, overcommitting to, work 10, 12 hours a day so that you can appear to be the best one on the team. Like, put some boundaries in place. I love it. I know I just went off on a tangent. I know we've been on here for 40 minutes too, so let me get to you, Miss Ma'am. Krista, you mentioned that you are a new mom. And as a new mom, can you talk a little bit about what changes you've had to make when it comes to strategizing for your business?
absolutely. So, kind of what I mentioned before, recognizing what I really want to do, how I really want to spend my time, and then what is most valuable that aligns with how can I give value, but also ensure that I keep those boundaries so I can be present for a baby and family. Um, and then also using as you mentioned earlier, systems or programs like Calendly. That's a huge help. I just send the link and you get my schedule. If it's now on the person whether or not they decide to book, instead of me chasing people down trying to book calls. Or I rarely go to the grocery store. I am on Whole Foods or Amazon all the time. All of those things. And I even subscription orders, like soap just came in today. My husband was like, why do you always order stuff? I'm like, you always need stuff. So I
So
just
I ain't gotta go get it, sir. What you mean?
right. So I just put like things on subscription so I don't even have to think about it anymore. Like doing things like that really helps a lot with the business. Both the business of just running myself, the business of running a business, and the business of learning to run a family. Because all of those things and just getting into the mindset of no matter who you are, whether you're an employee, whether you're an employer, an entrepreneur, a stay-at-home mom, if more people thought of themselves and their life that they're managing as a business, So what do? You have deliverables, you have budgets, you have, agendas, you have systems, you have processes. So when you think like that, you have goals. A lot of people live life with no goals. So you should have personal goals as well as family goals. And so those things help you to build and to work towards something. Otherwise, you're just like swimming in the water with no destination. So setting up those goals for myself and for my family and the type of life that I would like us to live is very helpful, both personally, as a mom and a wife, as well as a business owner. And I will say, me living that life before having babies and getting married, I planned on creating a life that I could work from home and manage my own time and pick and choose who I wanted to work with, like 3 years before I even met my husband. And I was like, I don't want to work 60 hours a, a week. And I count 60 hours when I think of commuting and getting ready. So anytime I'm giving this job, is me working. So if I am working 40 to 50 hours in the office and it takes me 10 hours to commute and it takes me 5 to 10 hours to get ready and get food and all those things just for this job, I count all of that as work. So if I'm spending close to 80 hours a week on this job that doesn't care about me, doesn't pay me accordingly, and I know for a fact that I will not be able to live a life of true attention and involvement in my children's life, that's what really made me decide to make that pivot into figuring out how to live this life that I have now, not even knowing when it was going to come. So I'm very thankful for that. And I would encourage any woman, young woman, no matter your age, if you know you want to like have a family, consider how you can live life. Like, and it might still be in your job. Now you can do so many things, and COVID just like elevated that transition of giving employers, the workers, more power and say and how they show up for work.
Yeah. Ooh, so good. You said so many things too. Just, I hear you talking about what I do as a capacity coach, literally managing your capacity around where you want to spend your time, what is really important to you, determining the important versus the essential. And I never looked at it, honestly, until you just said it. Like, hey, even the time, yes, I consider the commuting, but not the time that I'm getting ready for work, right? Like, when you look at that, so I'm going to be talking about this at a later date in terms of like general capacity. In a week, I calculated it out. We have about 119 hours per week. Think about that. Now, I did subtract sleep for 7 hours. Some of us do a little more, some of us do a little less. Listen to the doctor, whatever you want to do with that. But after you take out sleep, there's 119 hours that you have to do things. And if you are spending 80 of those hours at work or in a role that you're not fulfilled, where you feel undervalued, where you are suffering from imposter syndrome, all of those different things, that's a lot. You ain't got no capacity for nothing else. And so as a mom, I too have had to switch strategies. A lot of people have seen me talking about, okay, I'm managing my capacity this way around when my dad died, but even now, so with Liam being in first grade, this is the first time I've ever been home with a school age child and been able to get him off of the bus or put him onto the bus. And I've had to rearrange my work schedule completely, even as an entrepreneur, to fit what is valuable, a best use of my time right now. And so I encourage everybody who's listening, like, Krista said, whether you are in corporate or you are an entrepreneur or you're doing a little bit of both, decide how you're going to spend your time. Decide what's the best use and let that be the driving force. And I just love how you planned years in advance, right? That's so important in all of this, whether it is self-care, work-life balance with your business. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And I know that's cliche, but I live by that. Anybody who knows me knows, like, I'm planning out in advance, even for holidays and stuff. Maybe not so much right now because COVID and whatnot, but I'm the one who in January will be like, so what we doing for the 4th of July? Because the way my capacity set up, look. But it makes a really big difference. And so I thank you for sharing that. Ladies, do you have anything else you want to add to that? Oh, go ahead.
I just want to also add, in planning your time and setting up your life in that, I want to also say, and I feel like Black women don't plan your time and what you do in life based off of what other people said you should do because of what you're good at or what you can make a lot of money.
Latika, over there, I see it.
And I feel like, because I've seen this has happened to me with a lot of like mentors that have decided to take me on. They saw me for this, so then they tried to create my life for how they saw it. And so I was super duper stressed out for like a year during this journey, trying to, well, everybody else says I can do this and do that, but then that nobody matters. It's just me and my God and why I was created. So I just wanted to say that for any ambitious, talented, intelligent woman who has a lot of potential. People will try to put their goals and beliefs on you. Don't let them. Just because you're good. Just because you're good at money don't mean you got to be an accountant because they told you to be, boo. Okay?
Let the church say amen, okay?
Let me tell you, Krista, that was the main reason why I was outside of my job, but with, being diagnosed with postpartum depression, because I was in church and I was the leader of 6 ministries, because everyone kept on saying, oh, Sister Vines, you can do this. Sister Vines, you can do that. Your husband's a deacon, so you should be a deacon too. Your husband can preach, so you need to be a minister too. What?
All I'm going to say is pastor's daughter. So.
So it's like, everybody's like, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. But I was like, hold up, y'all. I got 4 kids and a whole husband and a full-time job. And y'all still want me to do all this? But you got people around here that not doing anything? I had to stop. I had to stop living up to other people's expectations of me. Talking about the whole self-love. I had to put me first. So yes, Krista, that, oh my goodness, that was a whole word you said. A whole word. A whole sermonette, everything. It was a whole series.
Thank you. That just came out. I'm like, I feel like this for somebody. I don't know.
For everyone listening, everyone on this call, I have been that girl. I mean, that's almost part of the reason why Nicole and I met, because I was in a situation where people were like, oh, you travel so well, people know you for travel, so do this. You can plan those things. You should be a travel agent. So I, got the travel agent stuff, and I'm like, I hate being a travel agent. I hate planning basic trips to Jamaica and New York and all this. Yeah, I said basic, girl. I said basic. Because that's not me. Because the things that I want to plan for a trip and a retreat, I want to plan something that involves someone's self-care, that will shift your mind in travel. I'm not planning, oh, let's go get this picture here. Let's go get that here. Let's go see the Empire State Building. I have the way I do things. I was a vision of different than what people were wanting, but I didn't believe in me. I didn't trust me. I didn't know me. I didn't accept me to know that ain't my calling. I may be good at it. Not everything you're good at, like you said, is your calling. Not everything that God gifted you was something you need to get paid for. Some of it's just for you. So yes.
Can you say that one more time? Some of it's just for who?
You. I was about to sing, but I can't sing something. I was like, "Ooh, girl, don't do it." I do that on my podcast. I was like, "Why am I singing on the podcast?" Girl, I can't sing.
Because that's what we do. Oh my goodness. All of this is just so good. All of the tips, all of the advice, and it all boils down to self-love. to capacity to really prioritizing ourselves, to live our own lives authentically, not who people told us to be, not who society says we should be, and we should all over ourselves, right? And really just honoring who we are and who God created us to be. And so just everything that you ladies have shared, I know is going to be super, super helpful. So I appreciate you. I want to be mindful of time and just really ask one more question to each of you before we get out of here. And Asia, I know you are here. If you could drop the links to everybody's website or podcast, the things that we were talking about, so that everybody can go and follow you guys and see the things that you're working on individually, because I personally have worked with each and every one of you. Danielle with Reiki and talking me off the ledge when I'm feeling crazy. Girl, get it together. Yes, everybody here has snatched my edges, okay? So I'm in good company. Latika got me all the way together the other day, like with her and her pen and her coaching. I'm sorry, capacity coach. What did you say? I'm like, oh, okay. And even with Krista is the genius behind all the things that I've been doing with the marketing and the social media, just the creativeness and helping me to bring my ideas to life. So listen, all of this is real. These are people that I value. So I would not bring y'all on here if I did not. So here's all the links. They're going to be in there. And while the links are being dropped, Cassandra said, is Danielle in Chicago? No, ma'am. Danielle is in, you see her shaking her head, West Side in Cali. So
California, not Cali. You know how I feel.
You just gonna snatch my edges on the podcast too?
It's
California, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Nicole. Do you mind if I do answer the question first? The baby's just getting in bed.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So what tools do you give your clients that you feel aids in building their capacity?
A content calendar. So building out that editorial calendar to help plan out the month or the quarter or the year. I think that helps, because once you get everything out and you see how it flows, it takes a lot of the pressure and stress off, and you know what to do and you know what to plan for the future.
I second that. It's been very helpful for me. Thank you very, very much. I'll make sure that your links and stuff are in the chat. So if you have to hop off, feel free to do so. Miss Noella, TT, love you, girl. Okay. So Latika, I'm going to ask you, same thing. What tools do you give your clients that you feel aids in building their capacity?
Absolutely. So I truly believe that we all must have a Boss Mom Foundation. And this Boss Mom Foundation really allows you to have those strategies, to be self-aware of what you can and cannot do, and also to have control. Make sure that you have control. And part of that control is having a weekly, a monthly, a quarterly, and an annual productivity hour. And this Working Mom Productivity Hour is an opportunity for you to honestly sit down, write down all your tasks of what you need to do, and prioritize them. So I actually have you prioritize them in a list. What's really important, what's kind of important, what can be moved on to another time. And by you being able to do that, you can truly look at the upcoming week, figure out what you do have the capacity to do, what's really not important, what someone else can do for you. But that really has been able to help me and other people to really be able to manage their capacity.
Again, as somebody who's participated in these productivity hours, I cannot tell you how much they help me to increase my own capacity. Because when you look at all the things you got to do and you start plotting them in your calendar and figuring out, I remember often saying, I'm going to do 2 weeks of content this week, this morning, and do this and do that. And I'm like, girl, you do not have the capacity for that. don't you tell Latika that's what you're doing, because that's not what's happening. And it forces you to be honest with yourself, which is what we've talked about. So I love it. I've put your link up here. It is in the chat.
Thank you.
If you want to learn more, please reach out to Miss Latika. And then last but not least, Miss Danielle. I feel like I'm on Family Feud asking the question again.
I'm ready.
Ready. Okay. Ready.
I'm ready. Good answer. Good answer. Survey says. So I come at things a completely different way than everyone. That's part of one of my businesses called Rogue Experiences, because I kind of like to go rogue. I feel in the capacity world, it's hella hard to have capacity or get to that capacity if you ain't clear. If your mind and your system ain't clear. And one thing I love about Reiki, so if you aren't sure about what Reiki is a Japanese technique of stress reduction and relaxation. Ever think about it? When you're in the shower, do you ever realize how you have some of the best ideas in the shower? Because you've allowed your mind and your body to relax and get into that state. That's what Reiki is. Reiki, we have all this energy and these blocks and these like things that kind of stagnant energy in our body. Reiki clears that out so it illuminates the path to where you're trying to go. Without Reiki, I wouldn't have found self-worth and self-love. I won't even lie. It gave me that clarity. It gave me the capacity to realize what I can do, where I'm supposed to go, and how to get there. And it gives me that, when we talked about self-care being that tune-up of our mind, body, and soul, Reiki is that mental tune-up of clearing out those blockages in your body and in your mind so you can be the best to get to that capacity. So how do I do it? I help people with Reiki. I do Reiki. So I do Reiki sessions. I think Cassandra asked, I do Reiki sessions remotely. I love doing Reiki sessions remotely. If Krista was on here, we were kind of talking about that earlier. I did a Reiki session on her. She's in Chicago, and that was when she was pregnant. She didn't tell me she was pregnant.
We laughed about that before we got on.
I'm still a little bit upset about that. So I'm doing Reiki on her, helping her with things, and I'm feeling different things. And I get to like her stomach. I'm like, yo, is this girl possessed? There's something going on. She's always looked because she wasn't possessed. She was pregnant. I just didn't know. But like I felt this strong presence, and I was called to give her information about her daughter and all these different things. And so I love that Reiki, sometimes I get messages, sometimes I don't, but it's a gift that I fought for so long that I'm so grateful that I'm able to step into that power so other women can step into theirs. Men too, but I don't really know women, but yes. That's all I got.
I love it. And listen, I know I have your website up here for the podcast, but there are quite a few folks in the chat that said that they want to book with you. So will you tell us how they can book a Reiki session with you?
Sure, fly me to the Maldives. I'm joking. It's on the website somewhere. Like there's Reiki sessions there, but you can also DM me or send me an email at Danielle@hellowellwithdanielle.com. But I think the Calendly, I can send you the Calendly link.
Okay, and I'll post it in the replay. And
So no, definitely. My whole goal is I want to bring Reiki to the Black and Brown community. I want us to see it as, and one of the founders of Reiki, she was like, she wants Reiki to be as common as taking aspirin. I agree with her. It's something that don't cost anything. You ain't got to buy a bunch of stuff and whatever. And it's just there. And it has been such a huge part of my journey. And I just want to share it with more people.
Now, I mentioned that I've worked with you, and I too had a virtual session, and I can't express how relieved and unblocked I felt after having that session. And, we talked about, some stuff that was going on with confidence, with clarity, with, releasing family members. Just it's so much stuff that comes up. So I highly, highly recommend it. I need to get in and do another session. We already talked about that. So we'll get that together. But I love it. And I appreciate the way that you are bringing Reiki in these different modalities too light for us when it comes to wellness. And just, I thank you for that. And so I'll say this so we can all hop off of here. I thank each and every one of you for joining me today. And one of the things that I offer in terms of helping clients really manage their capacity and understand what's going on and have a toolkit is my capacity calculator. And I know that each of you have taken it, and it is something that really, again, makes you kind of be honest with yourself and look head on at what are you spending your time on? Are you doing things that are aligned with what you say that you value? Are you practicing self-care? Right? All the things that we talked about today. And so the link is in the chat. I am having complimentary capacity check-ins throughout the month of September. So if you are someone who needs help really figuring out how to practice that self-care, you're trying to create a rhythm between your home and your work life and have all these ideas swirling around in your head, or you just even want to know more about capacity. What is this thing, capacity? Book a complimentary capacity check-in. They're free, 15 minutes. I'm excited to do it. And I want to help us all, flow and flourish like we talked about. Like, the whole point of this podcast is to give women the tools and the resources that we need so that we can show up in excellence, so that we can be good girlfriends, so that we could be good wives, so that we could be good business owners, so that we can take the time that we need and have Danielle fly us half around the world to go do these retreats and whatnot so we can get Reiki. So I need all of us to make sure that at the helm of this is being aware of and managing our capacity, because without capacity, you have no room for anything else to come in. You have no room. So thank you again for being here. This is like the best podcast ever. Thank you for celebrating my 1-year anniversary with me. I am going to make sure that I drop all the links and everything in the replay. I love you ladies dearly and am so just grateful for each of
We
you.
love you and we're grateful for you. And I'm so glad you're helping people. You're actually doing these capacity calculators and you're doing these capacities, like little mini sessions. You are fire. You are so fire and you are so worthy and you are so needed. And you are lifting up such amazing women to shine, to help other women. So I'm grateful and honored to know you. And I just want to say I'm grateful for you.
Thank you. Don't make me cry.
Me and you will never part.
I love y'all. Get out of here. It's Tuesday. I know that we've been on a while. I love you guys just the same. And I love the work that we're doing collectively, because y'all know, I believe when one of us wins, we all win. And so I'm constantly sending people to you guys, and let's continue to do this thing and change the world and break all these chains, ladies.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole. Love
You're
you.
welcome.
Bye, Danielle.
Bye.
Bye.